So, what does it take? What does it take to win when it feels like the whole world is betting against you? We're going to dive into a story that answers that exact question. It's about a boy who just refused to quit. I want you to just imagine hearing these words for a second. And not from some stranger, but from everyone around you. They laugh, they point, they make it absolutely clear you will never, ever succeed. Now, for most of us, hearing that, that's the end of the road. But for this one person, it was just the beginning. So, who was this person? His name was Arman. And look, he wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was just a poor kid from a tiny village, a place where big dreams felt, well, kind of ridiculous. And opportunities, they were few and far between. His world was small, but his ambition, oh, that was absolutely limitless. So what was his why? What was driving him? It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about fortune just for the heck of it. No, it was way simpler and honestly way more powerful. He had this one single dream: to change his family's life. He wanted to lift them out of that daily struggle he saw his parents go through, day in, day out. But you know what happens when you have a huge dream in a small town, right? Every single time Armand even dared to mention it, he'd hit this invisible wall. And that wall was built brick by brick with laughter, disbelief, and just a mountain of soul-crushing doubt. And the worst part? The deepest cut came from the one person who was supposed to be in his corner, his teacher. Can you believe it? The teacher looked him straight in the eye and said, "Success is not for people like you." Wow. I mean, a sentence like that could have been it, the end of the story. And honestly, for a minute it was. It broke him. But then something shifted. That crushing weight, all that doubt, it didn't put out the flame. It became the fuel. It lit a fire. And right there, that's the moment. That's when everything changed. He made this quiet, powerful promise, not to anyone else, but to himself. I will prove everyone wrong. And listen, this wasn't about getting revenge. This was about resolve. So, how'd he do it? How did he fight back? Not with words, with action. He built a new routine. It was simple, it was brutal, and it was absolutely non-negotiable. He started waking up before the sun was even thinking about it. He studied harder than he ever thought he could, and he made this commitment to learn something new every single day. No excuses. And that right there, that became the difference. While everyone else was sleeping, he was working. While they were just wasting time, he was building his future. One brick at a time, one book at a time, one late night at a time. Now, this wasn't some magic overnight thing. Of course not. That routine, it stretched from days into months and then into years. You know, this is the part of success nobody ever posts on social media. It's the sheer, unrelenting, lonely grind. And let's be real here for a second. This whole journey was painful. He wasn't a machine. Of course, there were moments he wanted to quit. There were nights he just cried, silently, all alone with his doubts. But the most important part of this whole story is what he did next. He just never stopped. So what was it? What kept him going when things got really dark? It was this simple but incredibly powerful mantra he just held on to. It was like his lifeline. He told himself over and over, if I don't quit, I will win. See, for him, it wasn't a question of if anymore. It was an absolute certainty of when. And then, finally, it happened. After all those years of relentless work, a huge opportunity just appeared. But it wasn't luck. Not at all. It wasn't a fluke. It was what always happens when preparation finally gets its chance to meet opportunity. And just like that, everything came full circle. The same people who used to laugh at him, now they were clapping for him. He didn't have to argue with them or try to convince them. He just silenced all the doubt with his success. Okay, so that's the story of Arman. It's powerful, right? But what's the real lesson here? What's in it for you? Let's break it down. All right, here's the biggest takeaway from all of this. It honestly does not matter where you start. It doesn't. Your background, how much money you have, all those voices telling you you can't do it, none of that gets to write your final chapter. You do. Because you know what really matters? It's how strong you stay when things get tough. It's all about how you respond when you get knocked down. It's about that resilience when you fail. That is the true measure of what you're capable of.
Look, at the end of the day, success isn't just for the most talented people or the luckiest ones. It's for the people who simply refuse to quit. Yeah, talent might give you a head start, sure, but it's perseverance, it's that grit. That's what gets you across the finish line.
So you got to keep going. Whatever you're working on, don't you dare give up. Your time is coming. It really is. The only question left is, when it gets here, will you be ready?